In true drift competition fashion, we got the livery finalized last minute. We worked with Michael from D-Magic on this one again, but we had to finalize some last minute details. And David at Super Raw Factory, as always, came through and made magic happen. I think he grinded 22 hours straight to get this livery to us, all cut and layered. As you guys know, Super Raw Factory's done all my liveries, even back to the R32 and my JZX in Japan. And it looks like the Madman even got Colette's livery done too. Wow. That is crazy. I'm not gonna show you guys a full sneak peek, but everything comes all layered. He's got the fanciest machines. These little labels make life so much easier, just knowing which side of the car things go to, because it can get confusing when you have all these different graphic pieces. I don't know how much I've talked about the livery at this point. I don't know what you guys have seen. We were up till like 3 a.m. working on the car. We're leaving a little bit late. We're not gonna get the full day of practice, but I usually don't even go to the Friday practice day, so I'm cool with that. But anyway, the livery, it was actually inspired and kind of a repop of my 2020 livery on my S15, which I think is my favorite livery of all time. I just wanted to flip the colors. Since I had blue on fade before, now I have fade on blue. I think it looks awesome. D-Magic killed it. We're about to head off to the now 3-hour drive to Klutch Kickers instead of the usual 8-hour drive. Stoked about that. It means we're gonna actually get 2 days of life back this year because we won't need to head there the day before and we won't need to drive back the day after. We should be able to go there same day, come back same day, and have it just be a weekend thing rather than a Friday through Monday thing. Stoked. And it's gonna be at the Freedom Factory, which is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to getting better at driving on banks, and I think it's a great way to force myself to do that. Going through on the way to the track, comparing the Samsonas to the new G-Force box, looking at the ratios and trying to figure out where we want wheel speed. So hopefully right out of the gate we can get it pretty close. Cool thing is at this point I have data from all of our FD rounds at different bank tracks and stuff, and the last time I drove at the Freedom Factory, so we can come out of the gate with a pretty close to good setup.
I woke up and then
you can't lower the rain.
The rain. Tired. No windows. Rain is good. I like rain. Practice. I want to take good pics of a car.
Guess it's time for moody, rainy pics. Yeah. Back to bed.
I already thought about that conversation.
I love it.
Now that he says it though, he's not kidding.
Yeah, I'm really.
I wanted to explain something about the choice to run the 315s on the rear of the car. Originally, I was planning to run a similar setup to last year, a smaller tire, but a little bit more grippy compound. But I was speaking to the boys over at Nitto, and I found out that Taylor was planning to run these 315s on his Corvette. So when I found that out, that's when I was like, all right, well, I might as well set this car up to run 315s. Because the problem is, we needed to clearance the chassis and like set it up to be able to accommodate a tire this big. We can always run a smaller tire, but we can't go to a bigger tire. So now we're prepared, and the really cool thing about this tire is it has a huge range of grip. To use the maximum of this tire, you need to make almost like 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. We get to a point with the FD cars where we can't even spin the tire in the RTR Mustang. So we're gonna be running this tire at a significantly higher air pressure, and although people are like, oh my god, 315, I don't think the car is really going to be that much faster than it was last year. However, when we come up to battle with some of the FD cars, because there is a lot this year, I'd say probably almost 10 proper FD cars, FD drivers, I don't want to be out tired and I don't want to be out carred, and that's the idea for this season. Make the car easy to drive, reliable, but have room to turn up if we need to turn up. Hanadale's a fantastic driver, but I felt very demotivated in the last round. When you're in a drift car and you're at the same angle as the car in front of you and they're just rolling you in a corner, that's usually a sign that you're either outpowered or outgunned with tire, and I don't want that to ever happen here, because the bank will exaggerate those differences. Even though it's small, and we're only drifting a small portion of the bank, I'm gonna have a lot of fun, but I also want to take it seriously, and I want to be prepared to battle whatever car we face up against. And I'm excited to get used to the same tire that I'm gonna be driving in FD and be able to take notes and understand from a driver perspective, because every tire handles way different, has different characteristics, and the 315 G2 is sick. I just wanted to explain that a little bit, because I've seen comments all over the spectrum that don't really understand and don't really get it, and they just see a number, but it's a street tire. Alright guys, we're about to pull out on track. Cletus's crew has been working tirelessly to try to get the track cleaned up. It's wet, it's definitely not ideal conditions to go drifting, but there's a good chance it's going to rain during the comp, so even though not a lot of people are driving, I love driving in the rain. Alright, we're about to go do a first lap. The concrete's real slick, so I got to take it easy there. I have the car geared differently, so it should be running fourth. But I don't really know what to expect. There's a lot of changes with the car. Front tire pressure feels a little bit low. I can feel the front end kind of feels heavy, but we'll see how it feels in drift once I have some weight off it. I'm hungry, real hungry boy. Ooh, car feels weird. It's like crazy hooked up, but also not hooked up at the same time. I feel like the gearing might be a little bit long. The front end feels a little bit off. A lot to take in. I just got to get more laps though. A lot of processing going on that last lap. Now that I've thought a little bit about it, I feel like I might have my gearing a little bit too long. I was kind of pussyfooting and entering the first corner a little slow, not really knowing what to expect of a bank that I haven't driven in a while, also in like patchy conditions. But I am leaning towards the side of potentially putting a shorter ratio in the rear to bring the RPM up on the bank. I just need to enter with a little bit more speed and commitment and see what that does for me. Alright, on this next one, I'm going to try carrying a bit more speed. I think momentum is key. Before I make any drastic changes with the car, I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing I need to do as a driver. It's easy to get overwhelmed by a new track and then just start throwing different setups and stuff, when a lot of times you just got to learn the track first. I made that mistake in FD. I think my first year I just kept on trying different setups when all I really needed to do is just turn laps on the same setup to figure out what the track wanted. I think my front just needs a little more air pressure. It feels really like heavy. All right, let's do it. Oh, I almost conquered the wet section. Holy shit, this thing is fast. I do think I want to make a gearing change. Holy shit, this thing's a rocket ship. Woo! God, this thing is ridiculous. Alright, we're gonna go make a gear change. So I was full throttle on the bank and just the RPM wasn't where I wanted it to be. I know the curve of this car and where it makes power, and I need to get the RPM up, and if I'm floored and the car's already on the looser side, the solution to that is shortening up the ratio a little bit. So that's what we're gonna do. God, this thing's ridiculous. So my gearing's a little bit shorter now. I played with the front to take some grip out of it. Took a little grip out of the rear too. Also fixed my power steering. There was a little bit, it was a little low on fluid, so that explains why I was feeling heavier. So I'm gonna go in full commit and just hopefully the car is a bit easier to drive than it was last time. This should fix also some of the weird stuff that was going on in the inside corners with making the car a little bit more free. Let's get it. Thing rips. I feel like I kind of need to turn the power up a little bit, but we're getting better, that's for sure. Ooh, this thing's so loud it hurts my ears. I was going to change helmets with this thing. Easier to drive. We've loosened it up a little bit. I might play around with the power and kind of where boost is delivered, but for now, just trying to get used to the car, my shift points and all that. It feels really good. Overall, I was worried I wouldn't be able to make the tire setup work, but they're feeling really good. I think a couple more little things, we'll have this thing dialed. All right, boogity boogity, let's go racing. So a little bit of a shake when the wheels turn to the left. Make note of that. Feels good. Some weird stuff going on in that front straight though. I'm excited to watch that video back and hopefully learn from it. So that scared the crap out of me. I'm like, I knew it was gonna be good, but when I had these same tires on the S15, I struggled. I think the E36 chassis is better suited to it. I see a lot of comments of you guys wondering why I'm not driving like a Mustang or the demo car in this. Our demo cars wouldn't really be competitive for something like this. They're a bit heavier, they don't have a crazy amount of power. But what's awesome is the suspension and the geometry of our FD cars and an E36 are extremely similar due to influence of this guy over here. So a lot of the stuff from the FD car and the techniques and things that I do translate really well to this. Even having a 4-speed, like the G-force shift's so freaking good that going down the straight, I feel like I've never had a car faster in a straight line. That last one, I gotta watch back the footage and see what happened. My tires were a little bit done, the shocks were like a little bit off, but it just broke loose in a weird way, and I gotta get a hold of that. Logs look great. I just looked through them, sent them over to Jamie. It's like 11.2, 11.8 the entire time, but you can see that the motor is just kind of like right around 7,400 RPM, which means I have the perfect balance right now. I can't hit rev limiter on the bank, but I'd like to either free the car up or add a little bit more power, so I have that resolution and room, just so I'm not kind of a victim of that. Yo, Chelsea's driving this thing, which I think makes like, was it 400, 450?
Which Chelsea?
340 horsepower, just doored Taylor Hole, like ridiculous. This thing is crazy. It weighs 1,700 pounds. It makes 7,000 horsepower. It's got 2 Coyote V8s in it.
Isn't that an FD car?
Taylor Hole's car? Yeah, that's his FD car. And he just basically like rocked up in like the equivalent of like a Hashiroku and just doored him. It's pretty sick. I know this video is short, so I'm just trying to think of random to talk about to make the video longer. Mike, make sure you don't put that in. Sean's got a new built motor over there. Look at him. I can't hear you!
Hey, put my lap in the video.
Sean,
It's one lap of the day. Put it in there.
Yo, I literally said you have a built motor. He thinks I'm talking shit here. Colette's driving phenomenally. Literally, her laps are better than mine. I think she would have qualified higher. I feel really good on pretty much everything, just kind of dialing in the bank. I know I could do a good qualifying lap with this setup, but I just know that it's not free enough to drive behind a lot of different cars. I'm stoked. Clutch Kickers is like, it's competitive, and it's really mental in terms of like strategy, thinking through things, car setup. But like the amount of pressure is so much more low-key. The venue is close to home. Everyone I know here, everybody's cool. It's just the best. I love this in drifting. It's really good. It's the perfect happy medium of everything. So I think I'm gonna end the video here. Car rips. I hope you guys like the livery. If you don't, I don't really care because I'm hyped on it. It's, I think I already mentioned inspiration, but it's also the same as my favorite BMX bike I ever had, which is blue and orange. If you've been watching my videos since the blue and orange bike, comment below. And if you lie, I'll find out, and I'll ban you from my channel. I'll do it. You should see my ban list. There's like 4,000 people. Try me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you soon.